Welcome everybody to another episode of Command Combat Battle Reports. Today we've got Russia versus Switzerland. With me today is Troy.
Hello everyone.
And it looks like the Russians have gotten themselves set up completely on their right flank up here. You can see on the top right corner is their is sort of the setup and everything, and it looks like they primarily went on their right flank and they're trying to rush these they're rushing their cavalry all up here to get up onto the Swiss flank. What kind of cavalry do they have? Uhlans, dragoons.
A very aggressive early maneuver. Clearly they have decided that the offense is the best defense.
Yeah, I'd say so. They even are bringing up their horse artillery, while the Swiss are bringing up their cavalry very slowly. Lifeguards, the hussars, and they're bringing up some Jaegers, which is light infantry. Oh, and the Russians have decided to go for an early charge up here.
It'll be interesting to see if the Swiss maintain discipline or if they allow this early charge to break down the formations.
Yeah. Oh, and the lights are making fire over here. It's not looking too good for the Russians. Meanwhile, I'm looking back over here, the Swiss have... Oh, they're bringing in more of their cavalry to do... That's going to be probably a cavalry fight over there, but it looks like they got, some howitzers over here to sort of pour in fire. I would say the Russians have kind of outstretched themselves, but then again, they might have done that to get their artillery set up.
But it's fine to make an early aggressive maneuver like that as long as you have a counterpunch to the wheelhouse that you threw. And in this case, Russia doesn't seem to have been prepared to strike it with a second punch to take advantage of the disruption of the early thrust.
I'd agree with that.
Our men are running, sir.
There is not much behind them. You just have this artillery up here, which is probably about to get run over by cavalry now. And you just don't have the rest of the infantry is way back there.
And looking at what's going on here, I'd say the Swiss actually responded with some good discipline. They didn't allow the early maneuver from Russia to break down their game plan terribly. And they've done a pretty good job of repelling it without exposing the opposite flank or creating an attack of opportunity for Russia.
That's absolutely true. Now, the other look at the Russian infantry is way back over here in the center. They did not follow up on their right flank. They instead have created sort of a line right here in the middle. Oh, and look at that howitzer artillery. It's already pounding. It is going to be hard for the Russians to do anything about that now they've just kind of lost their cavalry over there. Looks like they got some cavalry, but that they've left back in the back. They just kind of gave up. Well, let's see. Over here, yeah, it looks like they really lost that battle. And the Swiss are following up, and they're going to take that hill.
It's the old adage, Jeff, wise men tarry where fools rush in.
That's it. That would probably be...
Russian, see?
Oh! That's a little Russian humor there. You're going to have to find a bit
Our
for the
men
Swiss.
are running, sir.
Let's see what's going on over here. Okay, so I've been focusing so much on this flank because so much is happening here. But let's... Ooh, and that howitzer is just pounding in the middle of that big Russian.
Well, it's clear that the Swiss's artillery don't miss. Swiss miss.
Oh, you found... Okay, that's 2 for Troy, 0 for me. But at least the Russians have some artillery coming in here, so maybe they're going to actually do something to the Swiss. And you got some Russian infantry. Looks like the Russians have pretty much taken everything off of their center and trying to save what they can out of the right flank here. And meanwhile, the Swiss have created a real fine line right in there, down in the center. Pounding on that Russian right.
Our men are running, sir.
Wow. The Swiss have pretty much gotten the Russians out of the way, and actually you only have a little bit left over here of these Russians. Oh, it looks to me like the Swiss are going to try to cut the Russians off. These guys over here, away from these guys, so the Russians can't form a line. The Russians are basically just trying to hold on and battle this hill here.
And the Swiss are actually, again, playing a very, very disciplined game. If you notice, looking at the overhead map, they continue to hold some of their units back and keep it in the support of defensive turrets.
That's true. And so using them for support. Oh, although the Russians, some of their cavalry have broken free and are going It looks like it's going to be an open gauge for them to get to the to that artillery back there.
Well, that'll help. The question is if it's going to be too little or too late. I'd say the Russians at this point have just taken some massive unearned casualties. And by unearned, I mean the guys have just been sitting ducks through their artillery.
Yeah, that's true. But now here we go. The Russians are coming in through the back end of these sticks, so they're not going to get... Oh, but they might get hit. So look at this, these sticks that are hidden in the woods there. I don't think they see them. Oh, and they didn't. Oh, that sucks for them. But there are a few that got through.
Our men are running, sir.
Oh, those sticks were too much for them. They all got killed on the sticks. Well, so that the howitzer is going to remain, and with the Swiss infantry, I would imagine this game is about to be over. They have successfully, look at the way they have successfully broken the Russian line in two. We've got these guys over here who are just being surrounded and picked off. Oh, and the Russians are going in to charge, so they're going to do what they can.
In a way, I'm reminded of what would happen between a street fighter and a boxer. The Russians came in like a street fighter, just swinging, trying to connect for the home run. And the Swiss, if you will, as the boxers, came in with a game plan, let the fight come to them, and it paid off big time.
I would say, yeah, I'd say that's about right. And now you've got this light infantry versus light infantry over here on this wave, on this far flank, and you have the infantry right here. But look at that, the Swiss pretty much have them surrounded. Not surrounded, but on several sides. Oh, the Russians actually do have some cavalry way back there in the back. Let's see how they can place them.
And I don't know, maybe there's a kitchen sink unit back there that the Russians can throw into the battle. Right now, that probably do about as much damage as anything else they're doing.
It might do a little more. I don't know, kitchen sink, you can turn it on high.
Our men are running, sir.
And there they go from that center part. They only have one more section. Oh, and the Swiss are crowding in. Meanwhile, their infantry over here, how's that going?
Yeah, unfortunately, right now, I think the most brutal aspect of the battle for the Swiss is that we just got a course of
No, oh no! Swiss coffee.
And apparently they're starting to ration bonbons.
Oh, no bonbons! We've got to save some bonbons. You know,
now, my one criticism of the Swiss here, Jeff, is that I think if the Swiss are aware of just how much of an advantage they got at this point, I think it could have been over and done with if they had been a little bit more aggressive with the units they held back. Just taking the initiative. But overall, not a bad job of the Swiss. Being disciplined, seeing what their opponent is doing, and crushing it.
Oh, and here comes another try from the Russians. They're like, screw this, screw learning from our past. We're going to go in after them.
In fact, I think that was the Tsar's motto.
Screw learning from the past. We're going in after them. Look at this. They get
Our men
sticks
are running
right there again. And they're running. Let's see.
And the same results occur.
That's funny how that happens when you try the same thing twice and then the same results occur.
I believe that's the definition of insanity there, Jeff.
What is?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
What do you expect out of the results?
In this parallel universe, no.
No? What's no? I one time had somebody going on that for a while. She
Our
was
men
like,
are running, sir.
hell is in repetition. Hell's in what? Repetition. What's repetition? Hell is! It took her a while to get what I was doing. The Russians are creating another line against that massive horde of the Swiss. Is that the Swiss or like the rest of the world, you think?
I don't know. I think at this point the Russians would be better off knowing what the Germans are.
I think so, and I think that would be true with the rest of us here.
In fact, if they really wanted to damage the Swiss, they would just leave a bunch of cases of vodka laying around and let the Swiss get cirrhosis of the liver.
That sounds like a good strategy. Eat them slowly. It's kind of what the American Indians did to the U.S. They were like, oh, we get your blankets? Okay, here, have cigarettes. They're good for you. It was their slow revenge on the rest of us. Oh, it looks like they're getting charged over here. The Swiss are.
We'll see your cigarettes and we'll raise you smallpox.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
All hope is lost.
Swiss is a lot of
This battle is almost done.
I got my sword.
So the longer this goes on,
Our men are running, sir.
the more critical I am about the Swiss here. And that again, I think it became clear not too far into this that they had the advantage. And I don't feel like, and Jeff, correct me if you feel differently, but I don't feel like the Swiss took the opportunity to press that advantage and make it into it.
Yeah, in fact, they were really cautious. I'd say that their caution was their advantage and their disadvantage.
Yeah.
You know, they won because of it, but they won very slowly because of it.
Our men are running,
But I'd
sir.
say that's about it. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to watch us. Be sure to subscribe and come back and watch us for us on Facebook. Thank you for watching and happy gaming, everyone.